We on here?
We are indeed. Well, good evening. We're into July the 2nd.
Yeah, I'm here tonight. I've just had a nice warm cup of tea on this cold Wellington night with Bryan, my friend. Bryan's been up and down the country, so I'm being told. Is that right, Bryan? Talking about water to people, water privatisation.
Well, I have. In fact, I just got back from Auckland, and as you know, I'm friendly with Penny Bright, who's a water activist, probably the most informed water activist in New Zealand at this time. And we had a nice interview up there in Auckland, and she's got a very clear understanding of the process that's been taking place.
Okay. One of the things which sort of occurs to me, and reason I talked to Bryan about it, so obviously we might make a clip together, but the real thing is I came in here and we turned on the tap and we made a cup of tea. We poured for water, just as we always have done and always expect to do. And we're, you know, much the same. We all use water and we sort of expect it to be there. So on that note, what are you going to tell us about, Bryan? You know, the expectation of us to have water?
Well, there is a presumption, an assumption. We presume that it's always going to be there. And I think we're a country where there's an awful lot of water. We have a high level of rainfall. And we have lakes, we have storage, and we don't actually have a very big population. But what we do have is an ill-considered philosophy towards water. And we have quite a lot of pollution. So, you know, there are serious problems about contamination getting into our water supply. I don't actually think the real issue is that we need more dams and so forth, but if we're careful and if we use water in an environmentally sensitive way, we could be quite okay. Tanks for water supply, you know, the collection of rainwater actually could go a long way to helping us.
So Bryan, one of the things you were talking to Jenny in Auckland about is
Penny
Bright is the privatisation of water. And you're a councillor, so you actually know a lot about how these things are driven and what happens. And we all understand there's a cost of reticulation of water, of the actual supply of it, which we've been used to picking up through our rates. But what are the issues which Penny has been raising, which are important to us?
Well, she's concerned about the corporatisation, the privatisation of the delivery of water. And if you look at how the electricity reforms turned out, electricity is kind of like the electricity reforms are kind of the basis by which the water reforms, if you like, could be taking place. And as we lost control of electricity and it went into the hands of overseas owners, I think that one could be equally concerned that water could go exactly the same way.
So are you looking at it from the sort of like a projected scenario where whether users are said to come here and turning on a tap and water comes out, whether we pay our rate bills or not, you know, most of us pay our rates, but we don't look upon it as something which we come down hard on and we beat the population because, you know, we want to make a profit out of them or want to make some money.
Well, you're absolutely right, and it's this egalitarian thing about water not being a commodity, it being a right, and it's a public benefit, and of course we've been moving steadily towards privatising the profits and socialising the losses. And so there is this risk now that the same thing is going to happen with water. If you look at what's happened in Wellington with the sale of Capital Power and how it started off as the municipal electricity department and then it got put into a local authority trading enterprise and then from a local authority trading enterprise it got sold off in 2 bites. Well, water is mimicking the same thing because we've got a water delivery agency called Capacity, and it was taken from in-house delivery and put into a local authority trading enterprise called Capacity, which is now the agency which is managing the delivery, the service delivery of water. And here's the issue. The profit takers now have been asked to come and take a fairly high level of involvement both in managing and delivering water services.
Well, let's have a look at the drivers here, because, you know, obviously, as I said before, and you agree with, there is a cost to the reticulation. There's capital infrastructure cost, and there is a delivery of what we'd say is a social service, a social good. So, what are the things which are really driving this? And are there any real drivers? And this is the question I always have, which is, if we've been doing it this way for so long, what's so wrong about doing it that way today? What is the real issue? Is there something else we're not hearing about?
No, I think we are. We've actually been hearing plenty about the role of the free market, the profit takers, and the whole attack on service delivery.
So are you saying, Bryan, that it's quite possible for the municipal bodies which we have today to actually deliver this service at a reasonable rate and not require private entities to go in, that in actual fact what we're seeing is an attempt to take what is a public good and privatise it for a private gain?
Yeah, I think the failure to understand the distinction between a public enterprise and a private enterprise, and that the private enterprise is there for personal private profit, and the public enterprise delivers the best possible service at cost without the extra profit. And I think the distinction, I mean, obviously, if there is no distinction between the entities of a public body and a private body, then we should dismiss the whole idea of having them, because there's no advantage. The whole idea of local government was it would deliver the services to the people at cost.
Okay, I actually agree.
Best value at cost.
Yeah, it's been the thing which has worried me all along, and I really can't get my head around why the members of the councils through New Zealand, who declare that they have no interest in these things, and very few of them actually do have a private interest or the ability to actually buy into these things, are opening it up for people who are not them to take advantage of their citizens. Do you see it that way?
Oh, indeed, absolutely.
So it's an ideological drive, or it's some form of foolishness about efficiencies?
Well, absolutely. There's this whole mythology about efficiency which keeps coming back. But I think, you know, the ongoing battle between the profit takers and the public interest, we're just going to have a short break here, Nick, because,
Okay.
yeah.
Tea time.